Live from the House of LeMay Makeup and Dressing Room.
Here comes Amber. Stop what you're doing. Here comes Amber. She's just doing what she can. Here comes Amber. Cue the spotlight. Here comes Amber with 2 drinks in her hand. The matriarch of fashion, secrets to her glasses, you can't look away. Ask her, does she do it? There's really nothing to it. She's got that feminine game. If you have a party, or if you're feeling naughty, call up the House of LeMay. Here comes your favorite gal. Here comes your queen. Here comes the talk of the town. And we're live tonight. The music starts playing. It's time for cabaret on Amber Live tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off all cell phones and get ready for your host, Amber LeMay.
When I think of beef lasagna, I think of Colgate. No, I don't. Apparently, neither does the Colgate Company, which to this day denies they even made this product. But there you go. You saw it on Amber Live.
Ron DeSantis of Florida signed SB 1580, which allows healthcare providers and insurance companies to deny care or reimbursement for care if it opposes their ethical beliefs. Stop him. Stop them. We must call them for the bigots they are. In 2024, we must follow the advice of the League of Drag Queen Voters. Don't blow it. Vote.
From 2007, the hula chair. How could this possibly fit? Not be successful. Ellen DeGeneres featured this on her show and didn't stutter like I am. But I tell you, it gives you a nice prostate workout. Why did this thing fail?
Do gay cowboys, lip balm, and sweet, sweet karma have in common? They're all a part of this week's news briefs. Each spring, hundreds of men from across Mexico and the United States make a pilgrimage south of the border to Zacatecas, a colorful colonial city, for an annual gathering of gay cowboys. At private events held over a long weekend, they share carne asada and traditional folk dances and crown a cowboy king. By the way, in 2013, Zacatecas elected Benjamin Medrano, Mexico's first openly gay mayor. Mariano Escobar hosted what he believes was Mexico's first gay cowboy convention 18 years ago and says it's nothing short of heaven. I like to dress like a cowboy, he said, and I like guys who dress that way too. As the event has expanded and the subculture has spread, week-long vaquero conventions now are held in more than a dozen cities on both sides of the border. The gatherings have become a refuge for gay men seeking connection, not just with each other, but with Mexican identity itself. While the event draws actual cowboys, men leathered by long days tending crops or cattle, it also attracts accountants, attorneys, and other city gays for whom donning Western wear is both a kink and a lifeline to Mexico's rural past. Ay caramba, that sounds like a good time. Taking a break from their urgent, I repeat, urgent strategy meeting about the debt ceiling, GOP lawmakers held a fundraising auction. How much would you bid on a used lip balm from House Speaker Kevin McCarthy? But wait, there's more. McCarthy announced that he would throw a dinner with the winner and any donors and supporters they bring along. Who could resist? Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene couldn't. Empty Green bid a whopping $100,000 for the used, I repeat, used stick of wax. Democratic Representative Nadia Velasquez wrote on Twitter, spending $100,000 on chapstick while working overtime to gut the programs that working families rely on? GOP priorities in a nutshell. And Democratic Whip Ilhan Omar also tweeted, they doing this insane chapstick shit while the country tweeters on default? Wild. Wild indeed. But it wasn't the only thing that Marge did this week to embarrass herself. You may remember during President Biden's State of the Union address, Marge repeatedly yelled, liar, and booed. This week, she got a taste of her own medicine. It was her turn to preside over the chamber. Apparently, she didn't like the way Democrats were acting, and then this happened.
The members are reminded to abide by decorum of the House. The House will be in order.
Oh, karma, keep it coming. And that's this week's news briefs. Russell, come on in.
Hey, Amber.
Hey, Russell. I'm doing fine. We've got a great interview coming up tonight. What's the best way for people to watch it?
Oh my goodness, the best way to watch is on youtube.com/Amber Live. And that's because on YouTube, everything's in full HD and all your friends are probably in the chat room over there. And you can chat with Amber and I over there too. So watch us on youtube.com. You can watch on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, wherever you'd like, but we recommend YouTube. And notice that I have listed there our TikTok, our Instagram, and our website. All great places to be checking out. Lots of stuff going on with Amber all week long because every day we put up new stuff. There's lots of adventures with Amber.
Oh, yes. And Dwayne Scott Cerny and Rocco and Rusty Peen, they're all on our page. So go out there and check it out. Plus, past episodes and
Past episodes and interviews, yes.
Yes. I was going to say individual interviews, but the words got mixed up.
There
Yes.
are those too. I do cut the individual interviews out and I put those up for everybody to watch. And I also turn those into podcasts so you can listen to those.
That's great.
There's a lot to do. And then I want to say thank you to all our bustiers. Last week we got a new one from Shar and Asako, but we have Fred and Larry and Patty Bell, Jessica, Derek, Joseph, the Gephardts, so many who have helped us out. And you can help us out using that Venmo at RJD Pro or amberlive.tv and just look for the donate button if you'd like to use your credit card. And the bustiers, every bit helps. It really is important to donate. So help keep us going, get us up to we're at 150, like 3 episodes now. So let's shoot for 200. Keep us going.
Please do. Yeah, 153 episodes. That's a lot since March of 2020. And if you've liked any of those episodes or you watch regularly, we have no sponsors, so we count on you to give us a hand here and there. And I love looking at that list because I see some friends I've known for 40 years, but also people I've never met. They just like the show and have donated. But there's people there from California, from Ohio, from Florida, from Tennessee, from New York, from Vermont. It's just great to see that wide list of people who watch Amber Live and support us. Thank you very much.
It really is. And it's because of all of you that support us that we have guests like tonight's guest, Harpy Daniels, the amazing drag queen,
who's a digital ambassador for the United States Navy. And it's an exclusive interview. She's been in the news lately because the right wing's not too crazy about her activity. So we'll find out all about that in this week's interview. Let's get started. In November of 2022, Yeoman Second Class Joshua Kelley announced on social media that they had been invited to become a digital ambassador for the United States Navy. Kelley is also known as Harpy Daniels, and since 2018 has performed their drag act many times for events organized by the Navy's Morale, Welfare, and Recreation Department. Recently, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said, when you see videos of folks recruiting for the military services using things like drag queens, that is just fundamentally wrong. But this isn't the first time the military of the United States has encouraged cross-dressing entertainment. In 1942, the United Service Organization, USO, was encouraged to provide entertainment for the troops. The Army Special Services distributed publications called Blueprint Specials that contained everything you would need to put on an approved and pre-scripted soldier show. These approved instructions included dressmaking patterns and suggestions for material procurement. Choreography was outlined in the publications to ensure that the GIs look good in their highly choreographed pony ballet numbers. A pony ballet is one where groups of masculine-looking GIs dressed in tutus and performed ballet routines, often wearing their Army-issued boots. General Dwight D. Eisenhower is quoted as saying, "The USO has given an impressive demonstration of the way people in our country of different creeds, races, and economic status can work together when the nation has dedicated itself to an all-out integrated effort." Even Bob Hope, Sammy Davis Jr., and Jonathan Winters joined in the act during their shows during the Vietnam War. So let's talk to Harpy and find out their side of the story. Harpy Daniels, come on in.
Hi, Amber. Thank you for having me.
Oh, Harpy, it's such a pleasure to be talking to you. Now, we're going to get into all the Navy stuff that you're into, but I want to find out where you came from. Tell us about your youth and how you became Harpy Daniels.
Oh, absolutely. So, old story short, I've been doing drag for 10 years, but actually, fun story. I started drag before the Navy, so everyone can stop this. I just started. No, honey, you don't get this overnight. But I started drag in 2013 in a rural area in Pennsylvania, Northeast PA, and I loved one-namers. Originally, it used to be Harpy, and I went with it because Raven was taken, Phoenix was taken, and I needed another powerful bird, so I literally went with Harpy. It's an eagle. Look it up. I'm a nerd for that. And after that, once I started drag, my drag mother, Tequila Daniels, she was Miss P of 2007. She adopted me as her first drag child from rural PA in Sunbury. And since then, I took her last name and the rest is history. I would say the reason why I started drag, kind of sound cliche as the young 29-year-old myself, RuPaul's Drag Race. Season 2 came out. I was a 16-year-old boy. Logo Network came out on DirecTV, and we hid that to our dad, like, oh, there's no gay network on here. I don't know what this is. Then found out it's drag. I loved it. And then took the steps for where I am now.
Had you been performing as yourself, as Joshua, before then?
Maybe at a good picnic or a camp out with my friends, trying to be that old feminine queer that I am. But that's about it. And in my room.
Your early drag influences?
Yeah, very early, very early. And then before that, I would say, because I'm actually a twin myself, so everywhere I went, my twin and I were the stars. It's that main character energy we love. And I think entertaining as a whole, now being able to express it through drag, I've always just been a character and I love it.
So you were in the Northeast Pennsylvania. Where did you go from there?
So from Northeast PA, I was there so I started drag from 2013 and then went to 2015. I actually was Miss Gay Harrisburg. I'm not supposed to say it anymore because I gave it up. But I gave it up to join the Navy. I come from a military background. My father served 24 years. My grandfather served. My mom's side, her grandfather and her siblings served. And my uncle was in the Marines. So like I come from this big military background, and I was a data analyst outside of all of this. And I was like, I'm tired, drag's expensive. I need to get my life together. I got my heart broken. I'm 22. Everything's just disaster. And I just woke up one day and said, I need to go join the service. I don't know what it was. I need to go follow my family's generation, make them proud, bring them honor. And I did. And so I joined in 2016, the Navy, February. And it took about a year, maybe a year and a half. Well, probably a good year. Yeah, a good solid year. Till I was able to kind of be myself. So from February all the way till February of 2017, I went to boot camp, I went to A school, went to my first command in Japan. I was stationed there for 3 years. And then in 2016, I kind of Harpy resurfaced again. I was allowed to breathe. I learned the culture. I was tired of being masculine all the time to fit in. And I finally found myself after proving myself in the Navy, and on my off time in my barracks room, I'd do makeup. I would do terrible transitions. They're way better now. And I really started resculpting myself. And so then in 2016, I performed on the USS Ronald Reagan, actually. A lot of people don't know that. They just think I did it one time. I actually did it twice in full drag. And then 2017 is when I performed, and that's the one that you see a lot of that came out in 2018, that I performed in full drag on the USS Ronald Reagan with an MWR, Morale, Welfare, and Recreation event to boost morale. It was just it was a lip syncing competition. And I mean, we actually had a whole Lion King ensemble. People brought in like police wear, was doing a whole horse number. I mean, like it was a show. And so for me at the time, I knew it was coming. So I stuffed my sea bag with a wig, a quick costume, threw it all in the back, even hip pads too. Now those were tough to fit in, but I did it all. And after 2018, it blew up. As you referenced, it blew up just performing to show the first queer representation in such a long, since Don't Ask, Don't Tell even was abolished. And then from 2018 into 2019, I kind of just rode that journey and kind of just became a media influencer because that's all I could do while I was in Japan, because most of the time I was serving, so I couldn't do all this. And then I came here in Virginia, where I am now, for the last 4 years. And for the last 4 years, I created my own drag brunch, and it is the #1 of 2022. The results did not come up 2023 yet, and also the best drag queen as well in 2022 here. And I just kind of built Harpy Daniels kind of again from the ground up, but with the backing of who I am in the military and who I am out. And I perform all over the Eastern area. I actually still go up to Pennsylvania to see my family. I actually was just there last weekend performing with them. And since then, I've also been involved. I mean, as a queens ourselves, we're the forefront of the community. So I've also even taken my drag and I've jumped on community leaderboards with Hampton Roads Pride here. And I really got involved with communications, outreach, volunteer, which really sculpted even just my networking ability as queens, because, you know, we have to sell ourselves. And I learned a lot through that. And it's just been an incredible journey. And here we are now. When I became the first ever Navy Digital Ambassador program, when it was from November to March, and technically the first drag queen as a Navy Digital Ambassador during that time. And it's just been incredible.
You were 22 years old. You decided to join the Navy. Were you out at the time to your family?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I came out at 14. I was a rebel. As rebel as I am now, like kind of like suck it to you. I'm going to do what I want and be happy. I was that way at 14. And that's probably why I honestly can take a lot of this heat that's on me. You know, coming out at a young age, it was very unfortunate for the bullying that did happen. However, because I did handle it at such a young age, that's why I have such a strong front, can carry myself now even through the hate. So yeah.
When you told your family you wanted to enlist, were they hesitant because they knew you were out and some problems that you may have?
Honestly, no. My dad cried. He was like, "Yay, someone's joining the service. Our family legacy of being in the military can live on." I don't think my family ever was afraid for me, because they knew I used my wit, my intelligence, and my strength wherever I went. I think they were afraid maybe what they saw online sometimes at a young teenager age, just acting a fool. But overall, even to this day, I just talked to my mom and she's not even worried about me. She's like, "Go live your life. I know you got this. I'm proud of you." She's more worried about my older brother, who's still figuring out, and he's straight.
What type of performing do you do? What's your act?
So I'm a high energy. So I clearly come from a pageant background, but I love drag as an art. So I'm very high energy theater and dramatics. Like I will do a reveal all day long, but I can do tricks. But my favorite thing to go to is theater soundtrack ensemble music, because I think it's powerful, it's motivating, it's fun. I think You Can't Stop the Beat is one of my favorite high energy ones to go to do a quick reveal and beautiful sequence, and Fringe. So I will always stick to like this high energy era, but I will always probably pick, if I could, more, and I'm not a super theater nerd, but I will pick as what I know through theater, or honestly 90s to early 2000s genre. But I play it all. I've done horror before. When Halloween comes around, you always gotta get crazy, and that's the one thing about me. I don't want to put myself in a box, but I know what my strengths are, but I'm open to learning more too.
You say you're active there in the Virginia area for drag. What have you done recently?
So I actually recently stepped down from the board that I was on, and that's just because I'm transferring soon. I'm PCSing soon. I'm moving to Spain. I'm going to be an international star, mama. So I'm headed to Spain soon. But the last thing that I did here, I was on Hampton Roads board of directors of the 757 with Hampton Roads Pride. And we put on all of the Pride events in the 757 throughout the year. My main goal was for communication, outreach, and military liaison to get the information out. And then, of course, when Pride came, it's all hands on deck. So I did, with myself and a group of 12 of us all together, put on our block party, which is like a giant Friday night fest, our Saturday amazing Pride Festival down at Tidewater, which is over 40,000 people, and then also Pride at the Beach, because we are Virginia Beach as well. And we helped, the good part, the city helped with that one, because I got to, the first two was a nightmare. It was a lot of work, I did not look this good. I was a visor, running around, sweating. I probably lost 15 pounds just to fit in this dress. But it was incredible. So that's probably the last thing that I was able to do with my community during this time. Everything else now is really just been an ambassador with the Navy Digital Ambassador Program from November to March for the Navy. And that was really just showing awareness, talking about leadership skills, talking about how to get through biases towards people who are queer, and how we can fight that stigma and stereotype towards us. And I did a lot through that online and one-on-one conversations. And since all the media of recently what happened, a lot of trans and queer people and non-binary people like myself have reached out asking for advice how to actually recruit and do take the steps to join. So I've now just simply continued to be an advocate and speak to people, mostly offline and behind the scenes, but that's honestly where I love it the most, because I know it means the most.
I mentioned that Ron DeSantis has said, bad things about what you're doing. Candace Owens, I mentioned her in a show recently that she said she could beat you up, which I'd love to see that fight. That's from outside and the right-wing nut jobs. How about inside the Navy? Did you get any pushback? Was there any trouble?
So because the Navy Digital Ambassador Pilot Program that happened, that was a sanctioned program. It was the pilot, so we were the guinea pigs essentially. So the chief of information sent us a letter saying, not just me, but 5 of us in total. I was the token gay person that reached the demographics, probably because I'm beautiful in drag, hopefully, or ugly. Ugly attracts too. And we got that letter that invited us and said, hey, we love what you're doing online. We want to see if you can use it now and sculpt it. And if you can actually watch through, I started changing a lot more of my postings, and it was more bloggish and more focused on here are the key points of who I am, and focusing on who I am in the Navy and what I do, and that you can have that life inside the service. And when everything happened, the chief of information called me directly and said, first, I'm so sorry this is happening to you. And gave me probably one of the utmost compliments as a service member, because being a junior enlisted and having a high star admiral contact me directly through phone call, the EA is like, the chief of information wants to talk to you, and I'm like, who? The boss. Oh, okay, great, put him through. And I'm sweating. But he's actually a very down-to-earth, genuine man. That's the first time I ever spoke to him. And he took the blame and accountability for what happened to me, because we just simply weren't prepared. But that's the whole point of the pilot. Now we will be prepared for whatever the Navy decides to do from this point forward. The McPon's office called me, said, we support you. I've had chiefs, high-ranking officers, basically from junior enlisted all the way to high officer. I've gotten nothing but love and support. And I do want to highlight that, because I don't think a lot of people are aware that the Navy literally said, you did nothing wrong. You did exactly what we asked you to do. So please continue doing what you're doing. And if anything, I actually got really high praise as a junior enlisted for the leadership I do hold, and the poise. I will say, I will take that. That's the one credit that I'll take, is the elegance and poise, because News Nation was a very hard interview and I got through it.
Well, we're going to watch some of your TikToks. We've got lots of pictures to look at right after this break. We'll be right back. Oh, but wait, there's more, and more Russell. Come on in.
Hey, Amber. Oh, my goodness. So much already, and we have more to come. We have 2 more parts, 2 more segments with Harpy, so you're going to hear her full story from beginning to end, and find out what she's up to next. And you will also hear some altercations from Amber, a rant or 2, and Rocco and Boog and Shug, and they're all coming up. So don't disappear, because you don't want to miss a moment of it.
Yeah, we have two more segments of the interview. I love how articulate she is and her motivation and her hard work. It's phenomenal. And I just love talking to her. So let's hear part 2. All right, Harpy, we had a great conversation about where you got to from there to here. Now let's watch some of your TikToks.
I hear the train a-coming. It's rolling around the bend. And I ain't seen the sunshine. I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on. But that train keeps a-rolling. All down the San Antonio. All down the San Antonio. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy. Don't ever play with guns.
Good morning, angels.
Good morning, Charlie.
Squire? Yes, my lord. I desire tea. Of course, my lord. No, Squire. Your ex has broken it off with his fiancé, Derek. Delicious. It is a pity I had to behead them, though. They were a lovely couple.
What's your drink of choice?
A Negroni.
I was going to say the same thing.
Magliato. With Prosecco. Magliato. With Prosecco. A Negroni. With Prosecco.
Wow. Now, do you take all those outfits with you when you're out to sea?
Those stay at home most likely. Well, I might take one or two. I actually might, but most of it will stay at home.
Well, you need that handbook that I mentioned earlier that they put out, how to procure material and sewing patterns. Maybe you can get some when you're over in Spain. You're very active on TikTok. How does that come about? Why do you like doing that?
I think so. When it comes to media content, it's a way of expressing. I mean, as I was watching my videos, especially the first one, it allowed me to share a story. I think all the ones that you've seen show different characters of who you can be, what you can do. I mean, the world's changed so much online that the only way to sometimes express yourself, and we learned that through 2020 with the pandemic, we learned that we were cut off from that form of expression as drag queens. And after getting into it through that time, I was able to express myself again. Now, don't get me wrong, I do love to perform in person, probably more than making online content. However, I don't always have that capability to just busy schedule, life, it takes more to get ready, go out there, come back after like an 8-hour shift of drag, basically. But online content, I can go through music, backgrounds of videos, create comedy, create passion, and tell my story that can resonate with other people. And I think that's so important, especially with online. And I can do a lot more outreach.
In that one clip, you showed a bunch of the press that you've received, the negative press. Have any of them reached out to talk to you in person?
A few. I can't think of the mail media, something like that. The big ones did reach out to me. Even Fox reached out to me as well for the recent ones. And I told them no, because I didn't really want to feed into, they're not media that I follow. And I know their backgrounds of people and their demographics that they hit. And it's not something that I really wanted to see, which is actually, I just want to say, which is why when I saw you messaged me to say you wanted to do this, I thought it was high honor because I've been waiting from someone from our people, our community to reach out. And I would rather do this all day long than sit there and give them any benefit of all of this.
We've got a bunch of pictures of you, and let's look at them now, and you can tell us what they are.
Sure.
Oh.
So that's my email photo. Like that's the one that I took recently. That's my most recent. In my blues, where I'm like, if anyone has to know who I am, this is what I send out to everybody. It's on my bio, Navy, all of it. This is my Navy background.
Is that on your Grinder account as well?
Oh no, you will not catch me in uniform on Grindr. Oh no, man, there's too many military folks here. This was in Japan. This is actually when we did a really big exercise in 2017, and I was a part of it where we formed 3 aircraft carriers together. I think something X, but it was part of history. It was the first time in so long that we've ever did an exercise like that, and I was happy to be a part of it.
Now, when you're doing an exercise like that, do you get scared that, oh my gosh, we're doing something bad could happen, or we're preparing for if something bad happens? What's your feelings during that?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I'm not scared, and I think anybody who joined the service would be lying if they're not scared. But we signed up to do it. As much as a queen that I am, like the interview that I did with News Nations, that patriotism that I have really relies in my heart. I know I'm doing this to protect and serve my country, to protect and serve you and so many people, even people that I don't have the choice to serve and protect. I serve and protect them too, and that's where my heart goes. So even though I'm scared, I know that someone has to be out there and doing it. And if it's me, I'm okay with that. I come to terms with that. And that honestly does come through experience while in the service. Because don't get me wrong, I had nights where I was crying in my rack saying, this might be the last time, waiting to call my twin. But you get used to it. Like, I'm terrified to go back to sea soon. But I know in the long run, I'm smart. Every moment in my life has got me here to where I am today. And that includes the Navy too. So if I have to do it, I have to do it. No one will sign the dotted line and not think that. And if they do, they're signing up for the wrong reasons, to be honest, or at least unaware of the reason of what they're actually doing for the military.
Now, when you've been on the ship, had they said, okay, we've got to change directions, we got to go here real fast, or did you sense that something was happening?
There's been moments, I can't of course say those moments, but there's been moments, of course, where danger hits, and a voice hits over the 1MC and you just know. And because exercises, drills, we do them on a constant. As many people may have said, I go to work like this. I don't. I am in training. I'm learning how to fight fires, especially when I'm at sea, learning how to fight fires, stand watch, stand security. I mean, at the end of the day, even though I do administration, I'm still a sailor and I still have to protect the people around me. And I have to make sure not just myself, but all of us are doing the job that's needed to do. And that's making sure when the time comes, if it ever does, we're ready to fight. Sure. That's when I got my aviation warfare pin, because I was with Squadron on my first command. So being a surface ray, meaning I don't handle jets or anything. But the woman I want to say that was in that photo was my first mentor. She was my first chief, so my kind of like manager or supervisor, the best way to explain it for those who don't know military. But she's my number 1 mentor. She taught me everything to be an administrative clerk, and how to be a great leader. I think she's the first person I ever seen have a backbone while in the Navy, but still protect her people. She's the reason why good leaders deserve a shout out, because she was a phenomenal leader.
That's great to hear. Great to hear. Oh, what's this?
Oh, these fine gentlemen. So this is when I won Blue Jacket of the Year as well. So Blue Jacket of the Year means I was the top junior sailor of that year within my command. This was during our holiday party, which is why we're kind of dressed not in uniform. We're just out in colorful suits and stuff. And those were the triad. Those were the CO, XO, and CMC at the time during my command.
How did you earn that award?
Worked like hell. So I basically, besides just doing my job, I revamped one of our military programs as the president, and it was Coalition of Sailors Against Destructive Decision, creating volunteer events for sailors, junior sailors, allowing mentoring and leadership from more senior sailors down, and creating that bridge. I went back to school during the time. I took some college courses, and on top of that, I kept volunteering for everything, and I was that person, and I still am. I have the initiative to say, I want to do it. It's going to suck, but I know it's going to help me in the long run. But I did it, and I kind of just went above and beyond the bar, and that's kind of what you do.
Do any older sailors or retired sailors come up to you and go, gosh, you're lucky, or God, I wish I could have done what you're doing?
They do. It hurts me, honestly, my heart, because I know what I'm doing right now is simply a tribute to the people who could not. And I'm aware of that, and I thank them for paving this. Every single service member, I'll even say it here. Here's the camera. Thank you to all the service members who could not serve openly for paving this path, but not just for me to have this opportunity to be the tribute, but to all the other service members who are currently serving now open and confident. Because if it wasn't for the struggles and fighting, and I know there was witch hunts, I mean, the list can go on, the people who are dishonorably discharged. I want you to know you created this. You allowed me to be this. So I just simply want to say thank you. And it's simply a miracle to be open and do what I do now. So thank you.
Wonderful. Next picture.
That was a drag brunch. So all of those, I believe, are, I don't know if they were active duty or not, but I know they're all in the service. They were not there for the drag show. Actually, I was at a drag brunch and I saw them sitting there and I said, are you all like Marines or Navy people? And they're like, yeah. And I said, because y'all keep looking at me either like you want it or you don't. But I know at the end of the day, you close your eyes, it's the same. And they went with it. We laughed, we coked and joked. And I said, let's take a photo together. And all of them were actually very supportive. And they're like, wait, you're in the Navy? Actually, one recognized me, like, you're Harpy Daniels. And I said, yeah. And they actually gave me so much love and support. They're like, we want this photo. And they sent it to his girlfriend and like all hitting me up. It was such a lovely group of gentlemen. They were so sweet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That was just one of my favorite floral photos at my drag brunch. That was actually the back room when we got done. And I only sent this just for promo pictures to see how pretty I am. That's my twin. That's my twin. I'm in yellow. My twin's in pink. And that was us performing one of our duets together.
Now, is your twin also a performer? I mean, a queen?
Yes. Yes. My twin is goes by the name Trixie Valentine. Is a PhD student, has a wonderful story themselves. I'm going to say this, if I have a plug and a commercial break for anybody, it's going to be Mix Kelley Queer Education, because my twin is a PhD student currently and is so well known about gender identity, sexual identity, sex itself, romantic. I mean, and you just add in queer on top of it, which is knowing what every flag stands for. Because I know half of us are like, "What's that one again?" That's new.
I didn't vote for that.
Right. Yeah. My twin knows is where. So everything I splur back out in a mediocre way, I get it from my twin, who is a scientist, essentially about to be a scientist in all of this. And I can't wait for their studies to come out. And my twin actually did a presentation at my command. And to this day, they use the correct pronouns. They understand gender fluidity. They understand sexual identity fluidity. They understand so much, all because of my twin. And even for myself, I was like, oh yeah, you're right. That would be, more like masculine, feminine, androgynous. Okay, got it. So it's really interesting to see the work that they do.
I wonder how many twin drag queens are there?
Well, Sugar and Spice should move out because we're coming in next.
I think you have more talent than they do, both of them. So,
well, I'll give them credit where credit's due. They know what they're doing. That was my Chicago number, all that jazz. That was when I was running for Miss PA. That was my talent, and that was a good shout out to my military people and a good old regal military look.
Oh, I love your wig. Yes.
And that was this was just the past October. That was the first time I ever performed at a theater live during a Hocus Pocus review, and Hocus Pocus 2 came out, and I didn't have two girls, so I created it, and that was Hampton Roads Pride last year as well. And that's when I have to talk. You see how crazy I look? I mean, and as you can see, I love characters. I love adding in, and that's why I sent these two. I love a good character. Not Maleficent, she's all right. This was that was our Mother's Day show as well. That was a good one as well. And this is when I performed on the ship in 2017. And there it is, Old Faithful, a good old split. What girl doesn't know how to do a good old split at my age? Hopefully at my age. But,
Oh, that's me.
Oh, amen. I love this.
Oh, yes, it was Fleet Week.
Wait. Actually, that's next week. Oh, yes. It was so fun.
Now, all those outfits, do you make them yourselves? Do you buy them? Do you have someone make them for you?
I'll hit up Queens who made them. I'll maybe grab some if someone wants to get rid of it. I of course will take it. I think I did buy a sewing machine. It's collecting dust right now. There's a few outfits I will alter or restitch in the seams for myself. But as for creating, not quite there yet, but I'm trying.
All right, Harpy, we've got one more segment coming up. We're going to talk about the situation of drag queens around the country and how we can help them, but that'll be in our next segment. Altar-cations is our weekly report in response to those who say it's the drag queens grooming and molesting children. Who is really putting children in danger? While he was head minister of the Agape Ministries Church in New Hampshire, Kevin Strawn is accused of strangulation and sexual assault and is being investigated for similar charges in Florida. Police said the victims are people he knew, including children. The producers of the upcoming docuseries Shiny Happy People, Duggar Family Secrets, are shedding light on how the scandals surrounding the Duggar family all connect back to their controversial Institute and Basic Life Principles Church. You may remember the Duggars from their long-running show, 19 Kids and Counting, and that Josh Duggar was sentenced to more than 12 years in prison for receiving and possessing child pornography. Before that, Josh previously confessed to molesting young girls, two of whom were his sisters. Institute and Basic Life Principles, indeed. Now, not all religious leaders are groomers and molesters. Some are grifters and con men, such as Eiley Floridan. The head pastor of the New Bethel Baptist Church in Miami was sentenced to 48 months in federal prison for participating in a fraudulent scheme seeking more than $1 million of Paycheck Protection Program loans from the COVID relief funds. In addition to his sentence of imprisonment, Floridan was ordered to pay back $535,996 in the form of restitution to the United States. Haven't heard of any drag queens or gay bars charged with similar offenses, have you? And that's this week's Altar-cations. All right, we're back with Harpy Daniels, and we're going to talk about what's going on in the world with all the anti-drag, gay, trans things going on in the world. So, Harpy, what do you think?
I won't get into too much politics about it, but what I will say this is, to all the queer people, all the queens, history has been shown nothing but the struggles we've gone through. I mean, the LGBTQ plus community is just continuing to fight just to exist. And I believe we should still acknowledge where we're at, because we're further than what we used to be. But we need to find a way to get past these roadblocks and still be able to be ourselves and show this and break stigmas and break stereotypes and get that form of education out there. And until we do that, until we find a way to do that on a platform where everyone can understand that. But my whole opinion is it's terrible, because I am a drag queen myself. And you too, sis, like, we're not bad people. We're great people. I mean, I serve my country. So to break that stigma and mold, to show that, and that's what we just have to keep doing, and voting, getting out there, and definitely vote. If you're a U.S. citizen and you're able to vote, please do it. I mean, that is a right that service members bestow upon freedom. So please go vote. Do it for me. Do it for your people. Do it for the people around you. Vote. However you vote, that's your choice, but vote.
We created the League of Drag Queen Voters, and our motto is don't blow it, vote. And so we encourage voting every election. What advice would you give to drag queens? I mean, I've talked to drag queens from all over the country that Proud Boys have been in their parking lot, have discouraged people from coming into their shows, that they've been threatened, states where their jobs are being threatened. What advice do you have to them?
To any drag performer, queen, king, be safe and be smart. times are changing, and I know as much as we want to fight and go crazy, take it from a queen who recently just got bashed all over news for a minute. I could have went online and just fought it out and caused more chaos. Instead, I took a step back and learned and took a minute to breathe, and I came back even stronger and more of a force because I adapted and I used their tools against them. I didn't give them the satisfaction. And as queens, take it as a no. Be safe. Use what they're giving us against them, and just continue to please be safe. Don't ever sit here and think, well, it'll never happen to me, or it was that one time. Don't take any situation lightly because it's happening. It's happening now. So every queen out there, what I will say is play safe, play smart, and play safe. And most of all, continuing to be a voice, because as drag queens, essentially, I hate to say it like this, we're the mascots. We are the front runners of the queer community. So don't sit there and let people walk all over you. Stand up, and just when you're ready to fight and speak your voice, do it strategically, do it smart, and do it smartly and safely.
Your next step is going to Spain. Tell us about that.
I'm excited. I can't say when, but it'll be sometime in the moment. I'm going to go back to sea. I can't say what command I'm going to or anything, but what I will say is I'm very excited because I actually am bored in the Navy here on shore duty. I need adventure. That's why I joined. I want to go travel. My tour in Japan, I traveled all over. It was amazing. So I'm essentially going back. I mean, I'm single, so it's going to be great. But I mean, if I meet anybody, if anybody needs anything, call me. I'll see if I get a good Spanish man for you if I don't take them first. And I'm just going to have fun. I'm 29, about to turn 30 by next year. So I really want to take this opportunity to build an empire, continue building this empire, have an adventure, and live life to the fullest. Because if we're not doing that, then all of the things that we're doing now doesn't matter. So enjoy every moment that you can.
Is Navy a career?
It's looking that way. At this point, I don't know if I even have the choice. And if I do, right now my goals are to become the first ever commissioned officer within my family. I'm enlisted, so I'm looking to go LDO and be one of the first commissioned officers. And if anything, I think that'll say a suck it to ya through my success and happiness to all the haters out there, because there's no point in fighting words, because I do believe actions speak louder. So they can take a seat far in the back.
Harpy, thank you so much for talking with us. And I know it sounds trite, but thank you for your service, not only in the Navy, but your service to our community as well. You're really doing a wonderful job, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amber. That means a lot from you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. It's me, Rocco Zamboni. And I just wanted to take a moment to talk to you about American flag etiquette. That's right, there's a lot of rules for the American flag, stuff that you probably don't even know. And if you do know, good for you. But if you don't, here's the list of rules, all right? This is easy. Come on, we can all do it. Do not let the flag touch the ground. Duh. Do not fly the flag upside down unless it's an emergency. Now that doesn't mean like I gotta go really bad and I can't find a bathroom kind of emergency. All right? Do not carry the flag flat or carry things in it. Hey, does this mean we can't use it as a hammock either? Do not use the flag as clothing. That means hats, scarves, pants, shirts, boxing shorts, underwear. Hey, whoever's wearing this stuff, you better go change right now. Kid Rock, I'm looking at you. Do not store the flag where it can get dirty. But what if it does get dirty? Can we just throw it in the wash? Is it gonna wash all the freedom out of it? What if we put it on the gentle cycle? Do not use it as a cover. That goes for bedspreads, sheets, blankets, pillowcases, sleeping bags, or something to keep that homeless veteran warm on a cold night after he did a lot of stuff to protect it. You know what I'm saying? Do not fasten it or tie it back. Just let it fall freely to the ground. That way all the freedom falls out all over this beautiful land of ours. That's how we get our magical USA powers. Do not draw on or otherwise mark the flag. You know who used to draw on flags? Nazis. That's right. Keep little Johnny away from the crayons. I mean, come on. You want him to be an American patriot or a Hitler Youth? Whoa, Rocco, that was a little harsh even for you. All right, let's take it back a step and redo that. Do not draw on or otherwise mark the flag. The only thing you should be doing is letting it fly freely, because it's the symbol of a great idea, that all people in this country are equal, right? We're all created equal, we all live equally. Yeah, granted, that means we gotta put up with a couple of douchebags here and there, but that's all right, because you know what? In this country, even the douchebags are free. All right, so that's it. That's the list of rules for the flag. Now, granted, there is a lot of other rules, but I'm not going through them now because I'm going to get bored, you're going to get bored, and who needs all that? So, if you want to find out more, look online, Google it, do whatever you got to do. Until then, hey, USA, 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 and so on and so forth. This is Rocco saying, talk to you later.
Love that Rocco.
And now for this week's rant. Either you're with us or you're not. Make up your mind. For over a decade, Target stores have had a pride collection of clothes and items to celebrate their GLBTQ plus staff and customers. The displays were always prominently located in the stores and celebrated by our community. This year, after an intense backlash from some customers, including violent confrontations with its workers, stores have removed certain items and making other changes to its pride merchandise. Target confirmed that it has moved its pride merchandise in the southern states from the front of the stores to the back after confrontations from shoppers in those areas. By kowtowing to those who threaten their employees, aren't they just encouraging more violence? Anytime these Karens are upset by anything, all they have to do is throw a hissy fit and they get their own way? If you ask me, they are way off target. When the Los Angeles Dodgers, that's a baseball team for those who may not follow sports ball, announced their plans for their 10th annual Pride Night, there were a few surprises. The biggest surprise was their plan to honor the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence with their Community Hero Award. The sisters were to receive their award on the field of Dodger Stadium. Well, it didn't take long for Senator Marco Rubio, the Catholic League, Catholic Vote, and other right-wing anti-LGBTQ groups to call for action to reverse the decision. So, the Dodgers disinvited the sisters, and the LA Pride Committee then dropped their support of the Dodgers. However, down the road, the Anaheim Angels, that's another baseball team, invited the sisters to their Pride Night. The Dodgers heard from a lot of people angry with them for reneging on their original intentions. A lot. So they issued a statement sincerely apologizing for going back on their offer and re-invited the sisters to receive their award. Both the sisters and the LA Pride Committee accepted the apology. Hey, Target, it's not too late. And that's this week's rant. Boog and Shug, bring it on.
Hey, Shug! I think I just had an out-of-body experience.
What are you talking about now, Boog?
Well, instead of watching the show, my brain left my body and went and had lunch.
Oh, you're out to lunch all right, Boog.
Grilled cheese.